her name is Saya, talking about ending her life. What would have happened if I would have called her in on suicide watch for saying that? Had the cops show up to her work for saying that? She would have gotten locked up in a mental hospital, called mentally ill, suicidal ideations. Yes, long-term abuse leads to suicide, so please stop abusing people. Yes, recorded on my channel is me going down there for help and trying to tell her what was going on, and she started telling me her story like most people often do. She talked about her brother and being sad and wanting to end her existence. When the police and mental health want to bully you into something they can make money off of, like therapy, they only care if you want to hurt yourself or someone else. They don't care who hurts you. They don't fucking care. They're not even asking that question. That's not what they care about. They're required to ask, they say, if I want to hurt myself or others. Well, then we have literally hundreds of phone calls where those people didn't follow their protocol in that, didn't they? So I got the card for Asaya as well. If the cops would have gone there to her work and taken her in for having suicidal ideations, she probably would have lost her job and lost her place and had a label over her fucking head. Did I do her a favor? You goddamn right I did. The wrong thing to do. The wrong thing to do is to have them locked up on suicide watch. The wrong thing to do is have them call 988. 988 doesn't care. They will push you to end your existence. Saya saw me outside of Safeway one day, and she came and talked to me and told me about how horrible it was and that she would help me, and told me to come down to the office, and I did, and I spent the day there. And they dealt with my anxiety pretty well. It wasn't a safe environment for somebody who's autistic to work in, but she wasn't mean at all. Then she said that the editor, I think it was the editor, wasn't okay with the way it made the business look. It's always about looks, isn't it? Not about the victim. It's not about the story either. It's about the way it looks. Let's take a look at this here piece of paper. Why do the city employees not want to be recorded? Because it shows these concerns to be true. Because they are not protecting our rights. The employees do not have the right to commit felonies against at-risk adults. They do not have the right to slander our names and then pretend like we're bad people for recording it. They do not have the right to lie to us. This is about only protecting the employee's reputation. See, they have no integrity. The recordings show they have no integrity. Zero integrity. None. I'm trying to turn in criminal acts committed by law enforcement. Why am I being given non-official bullshit and Nazi bullshit like this? It says the purpose is to promptly address citizen concerns while protecting employee rights and protecting the integrity and reputation of the city and its employees. Well, they're not promptly addressing citizen concerns at all. So this part right here is gone. Also, these are not the employees' rights, so that's gone. Their integrity is non-existent. How can they protect something that doesn't exist? And their reputation. Ha! What a joke. Well, they do everything that they can to destroy my reputation further by insinuating I am mentally ill and schizophrenic, outright lying to people and stating that I am schizophrenic, sending me to mental health to infer that I must be, where mental health tells me it's not their job. But it's only about the city and its employees who are stealing drugs from drug busts and giving them to street women for sexual favors. Come on now. This is not a fucking joke. It's about protecting the city and its employees who have no integrity from having their reputation shown. It has nothing to do with citizen concerns. You got to hear the other night how Officer Fitzgerald tried to make everything and every excuse under the sun, including and not limited to trying to infer that I am not a human being nor a citizen. That's pretty fucking nuts. I've gone to more than one story, or with more than one story to Will Chappell. Hopefully he runs with more of them. Hopefully he runs with this one. He's recorded on my channel. Who spoke up about Hardin, Montana being a hotbed for missing and murdered indigenous people? About it being the epicenter, about how serious the situation it was. The missing women of Hardin, Montana. The missing women of Hardin, MT. Type that in. 14,000 views. Sorry, 15,000 now. That video was up on my channel for 10 months. 10 months. It only got 56 views in that entire 10 months. Then Selena Not Afraid disappeared. And it got over 14,000 views in less than 24 hours. Also, because of the situation with Natalie Bollinger, people wanted to accuse me of killing Selena Not Afraid. Said the FBI was looking for me. So what did I do? I called the FBI. They didn't give a fuck. Neither did the local police. They didn't give two shits. They already decided that she froze to death, no problem. No harm, no foul. I mean, she's really not a real human being to her own people, obviously. She was not a real enough human being for the people that she was in the vehicle with not to murder her with exposure. She was not a real enough human being to the tribal police or the Hardin sheriff for them to do an actual investigation. Instead, both of them, before an autopsy was even done, claimed that she had died of natural causes. There is nothing natural about about being murdered by exposure the way the Boulder Police Department murders the homeless. These laws murder people every single day. Homeless people are at the highest risk for abuse because the news is just going to pretend that we're mentally ill child rapists and not listen to us. The police are just going to pretend we're mentally ill child rapists and not listen to us. And the public, because the police and their propaganda, the news and their propaganda, the public pretends that we're all a bunch of mentally ill rapists out to kill everybody. At least the news finally picked up the story of Hardin, Montana, about how it was the epicenter for missing and murdered indigenous people in 2019. The United States government followed suit in 2021. The camera laws that I fought so hard for, the whole time trying to tell those officers, hey, these officers are not recording it. They're not allowing the body cameras as evidence. They're lying about what happened. My public pretenders are refusing to requisition the body cameras. I'm being abused by the Bollinger family, and I'm being gaslighted by a lot of different people. Alyssa Rainwater is recorded on my channel, contradicting what Officer Amanda Jonas had to say about the situation. I didn't recognize Officer Amanda Jonas by name because I didn't know her name. I recognized her by her face when I was arrested. I was sent to Amanda Jonas, one of the officers I was trying to turn her into herself. She went on vacation for a few days. All they had to do was postpone and blow it off and prevent me from turning them in long enough for them to turn me in for something, to make anything up. I was arrested in Longmont. They transferred me to Arapahoe County. Arapahoe County wouldn't allow any of the actual evidence of those situations. They would only allow the police's lies of those situations in court. And again, my public pretenders refused to do a goddamn thing to get the evidence, to requisition the evidence. They did not care. They were too interested in bullying me because they didn't want to do their jobs. And because I didn't have the ability to record it while incarcerated, they just did whatever they want and sold whatever narrative they wanted in court without me being allowed in court. Same thing that was done with Leslie Snell. Well, I had to try to turn her and Scott DaCosta into her and Scott DaCosta. It wasn't just Leslie Snell, it was also her friends and family who had been taking part in this since Natalie Bollinger disappeared. Clint Snell, her husband. Carl Snell, her brother-in-law. Each of them with their own complaints against Scott DaCosta. But they also committed felonies against me, along with Chris Kurth, in multiple jurisdictions. Valinor Highborn type, who's Maddie Boa? Alright, quick story for you, Valinor. There was a 16-year-old girl that I tried to run off all the fucking time. All the time. One day she came to me crying, saying she was just beaten up by her dad. She was 16 years old. She shouldn't have been talking to me. She should have been staying completely the fuck away from me. But just like all the rest of them fucking little twerps, she come to me about her problems. I tried to turn it in to Officer Jenny Paddock and her partner at the time. His name was Officer Abel Ramos, Boulder Police Department. Maddie Boa was friends with two girls, Natalie Bollinger and her twin sister Alicia Bollinger. They were all selling drugs down there. That's why they were there. They were selling drugs for Natalie Bollinger's dad. A lot of my friends were selling drugs for Natalie Bollinger's dad. Todd Ryan Case, he got his drugs from Ted Bollinger. Kayla Trujillo's drugs, they came from Blaine McCrelius, and Blaine McCrelius got his drugs from Ted Bollinger. Sure, they'll help me turn it in until they realize that it's going to cut them off from their drug flow. Anyway, Maddie Boa, she was the only minor who was allowed to be my friend. That's because Officer Ramos had basically asked me to keep her safe. If she was ever willing to come forward with me, that he would take our report. That he would allow me to be there with her for her safety, and that he would take the report himself. But Maddie Boa was afraid to do that. Later on, Natalie Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger, I didn't even know their fucking names, came back when they were adults. Natalie was supposed to be going to see Maddie Boa. They were friends, had been friends for years. And Maddie Boa and Natalie Bollinger were my only friends at that point. That was after I'd hurt my back, and everybody just stopped pretending I even existed. The only way that I could talk to them was on Facebook because I was stuck there. Maddie Boa is the lady who planned the trip with me to Virginia. She's the lady who couldn't go on that trip because she got busted selling methamphetamines. When I left Virginia to try to tell her what was going on, she's also the lady that spread rumors that I had threatened to kill Natalie and Alicia Bollinger in Virginia and their family. She's the one who spread rumors that I had molested and raped 2 girls in Virginia. She's the one that spread rumors that I had molested and raped 2 little girls in Virginia. She just went on a magic fucking carpet ride of fucking slander. What happens when a woman does something wrong? Yes, Natalie Bollinger. Valinor typed, why did they pin her murder on you, Natalie Bollinger? They didn't pin it on me. They tried to. Joseph Michael Lopez is in prison for it. But the abuse that started before Natalie Bollinger's death never stopped. And because of the popularity of her death in these YouTube channels and on these Natalie Bollinger groups, I have no end of predators willing to hurt me and harm me everywhere that I go, and I'm not allowed to get help. I'll be sent to mental health. If something's going to take 2 years to get it done, then we can wait till next time to fill out the housing paperwork. I'm here to turn in abuse against me. I'm an at-risk adult. We need to focus on that. And all these places ignore that. Now I'm going to end this video because I don't want the battery to die and because I got a drop of shit like you wouldn't believe. You're fucking welcome for sharing that. Maddie Boa is the one that went spreading all the rumors to my friends and family in Boulder, making it so I couldn't go to Boulder without being assaulted, threatened, or having, well, my friends and family's lives threatened as well. And these people tried bullying me to commit suicide over and over again. You know what happens as males when we're sexually assaulted by a woman? We're taught that it's our fault for being there. I've been made to believe that I am some sort of a bad person every time that I have ever been molested or raped. People pretending that I'm a bad person for speaking up. I can speak calmly and collectively to try to turn in predators who are committing crimes against me. But if you're just going to talk over me and tell me that it's not against the law for them to do that, then watch me work. Valinor Highborn type, they will lie and slander your righteous name even though you're an innocent fellow. Well, duh. That's why I recorded it. But they're not going to allow any of this in court, not without somebody speaking up with me. They're not going to start an investigation. And if they don't start an investigation, then they don't have to acknowledge my rights as an American citizen or as a disabled person. They refuse to listen to any details and talk over me and telling me it's not against the law. If I write it down, they refuse to look at it. Right now, I don't have the ability. Well, right now, I have the money to make copies of stuff. Finally. But my money runs out. I have to spend it hiring people to help me do things that I cannot physically do for myself. And look how long it takes to try to find somebody to do that. And it ends up, at the end of the day, everyone's going to blow me off and not show up. Except once in a great while, a meth addict who really wants the money. Now imagine if I had called the cops, if I had called 911 when Saya told me that she wanted her life to end and had her committed on suicide watch with suicidal ideations. Would that have helped her out in the least bit, or would that have destroyed her life? Meanwhile, she's that way for a reason. And she wanted to complain they wouldn't listen to her either. It's recorded on my channel. Will Chappell is recorded as well. He only cared about the homeless issue, which I've tried to bring to him. He didn't care much about the Natalie situation or how it got me here, or how it returns over and over again to haunt me. People pretending that I killed her. Like my stalker. He stalked me here from Hood River. Hood River Police Department slandered my name to James Murphy and to Logan Bishop and to his girlfriend Shayna, so that they wouldn't listen to me. Classic gaslighting. So the very next day, when I went to McDonald's to get something to eat, James Murphy tried to assault me in the McDonald's. The officer slandered my name, said that that man who came up to my door was my friend and that he was in my car doing drugs with me. The whole interaction is recorded. It shows that that's not what happened. That old man was going to assault me in there. The cops tried to pretend that I was the dude with the rocks. And if you guys paid attention to my channel while I was in Hood River, you got to hear the staff at the Astro gas station there. When the cops were trying to fucking harass me, that officer had his hand on his gun. And those people told him that I was not the guy with the rocks. Logan and Shayna talk about the guy with the rocks. The guy with the rocks is recorded. The whole interaction with me and that man with the rocks. It also shows all of the officers that spoke with Logan and Shayna and that old guy and lied to him. And when that old guy tried to assault me in McDonald's, Logan and Shayna both stood up and stepped up and said, hey, that's not the guy. But that old man wouldn't come off of it and still hasn't come off it to this day. He stalked me here from Hood River. He made it unsafe for me to be in Hood River, along with the police there. And they worked together and coordinated with one another. That old man was used to harass me over and over again. He kept calling me the N-word out the window over and over and over again, honking at me. Or he'd stop and go, T445, T445, T445. Or come up and yell in my face. How dare I record him? Fuck you. Stop fucking stalking me. Now that shit should have been taken care of in Hood River. But it wasn't, and the state police told me the same thing there as they told me here. It's not their job to police the police. Well, the police repeatedly sent me to the state police to investigate, or they sent me to Adult Protective Services who wouldn't investigate. Sent me around in circles, threatened, harassed, and intimidated me for trying to turn in officers. Cops bully us for being fucking homeless. So does the public. The amount that we get for holding a sign does not cover the expenses of abuse. If we have to be afraid that we're going to be lied to when we go to the police, we have to be afraid that we're going to be threatened with having our predators sent to us when we call 911 about our predators. I have to try to call 911 to turn in crimes committed by the police, and 911 is going to threaten me with being arrested. My life is at risk. If I have to call 911, but I have to go somewhere safe first, and then call 911, and then they refuse because I relocated, then it's magically fine that the crime was committed. Or like Fitzgerald the other night, literally stood there, watched those guys, watched their vehicle, strolling along like it's Sunday afternoon. I am a disabled and at-risk adult. I'm supposed to tell them that when I encounter them, so that they follow the laws and the protocols to protect the victim, especially someone who is an at-risk